Okay.
Okay, that's just to let you know. All right. So this is just Manos's spring summer collection. So it's a mix of yarns. It's not actually highlighting one yarn. They had one designer come in and make a whole little fun collection for them, using a mix of stuff. And so it's just a new pattern collection, and it's across a wide base of yarns. And these are, show this off. We've got 3 little teas, which are really fun and cute. This one, Arvejila. I'll bring it up front to show you the tag. This one's made of Milo. So Milo's got that linen content. So it's nice and drapey, lightweight. It's a DK.
I like that.
Yeah, this one's nice. The lace panel is just in the front. Of course, you could put it in the back if you wanted. I think that'd be very sweet too. Or you could wear the piece, you know, put it only in the back and do a solid front. Bunch of different ways to do that. This one is actually knit from the bottom up, and you'll do a, yeah, you'll do some joins for the sleeves. There's 2 options, and actually I believe all 3 of these do the same thing, where they've got an optional shaping. This one can tuck in and do a bit more of an hourglass shaping, or you can just do it as a straight down tube. And that's the same for these. This one I think is mainly intended, these 2 are knit from the top down. This one is intended to just have a flare. It doesn't nick in, it just flares out for wider hips if you'd like. So yes, this was out of Milo, with a very nice little lace panel. This one is color work, violetas. You can tell the nice little springy flowers. I think the designer, I should probably tell you the name of the designer, Deborah Gerhard of Spruce Lane Designs. So she talked about the violets that would always spring up in her grandmother's garden. Pretty. Yeah, this one's nice. So this one's top down. So it's very easy. It's made out of silk blend. Very easy to modify the length of the body and of the sleeves. Because these are all, what is this one? This is the leaves, right? Yeah. These are all pretty much in the same gauge. So you could swap fiber contents if you wanted to. Like this one was made out of the fleece, so it's got that, losing my words there, that modal content. So it's a bit shinier, it's a bit smoother, a little sleeker. It's applied yarn. You could swap that for the silk blend if you wanted, and you can see it will work just fine with the color, with your stranded knitting. But this does make a very nice plush sweater. This is technically, you know, the spring summer set, but there's no reason you couldn't add longer sleeves or use this as a layering piece in the winter, because this is just a really nice sweater. You can play with all kinds of color combos. You know, if you wanted to, you can make your flowers a different color, do green here and green here, make these flowers a different color. Lots of ways to play. That's out of silk blend, and silk blend has tons of fun colors. So this one is the Feliz Pelotas. And this is again color work, but it's got these adorable little baubles all along the top there. And I think they're so sweet. So it's like the little trees, little blooming trees, little arched windows. Or they could be little pergolas. Top down, optional shaping for the body again. So depending on how much you want to do, you can just go straight, or you could modify it slightly. Garter finish on the bottom, easy peasy.
Would you have to do those bobbles or can you just,
No, you could just, yeah, I mean, they essentially really only take up one stitch there. So you could just do, if you didn't want to do the bobbles, yeah, you could just do a stitch.
okay.
Yeah.
Not sure I'm a bobbly person.
To wear them or to do them? Or both?
Or both, yes. I mean, I'm not afraid to learn how to do them, but I don't know about wearing them.
Made me think of tiny little buttons, and you
Yeah.
use the little buttons instead of putting the bobbles on.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, these are they're pretty, they're kind of subtle because
Yeah.
the fleece isn't super puffy either. Like I said, it's kind of a sleek yarn. It has some drape and some silk and glide. So the bobbles are, you know, they're not super standouty.
Okay,
They're kind of understated bobbles.
got it.
So those are the cute little tees. And then let's do this one next. This one's pretty. This is Estambra. And there's some new colors of Alma. For this one, I would probably stick with a solid just because you would lose the knot stitches. But there are some beautiful new variegated colors in Alma. This is 2 skeins of Alma. And you start at the bottom actually for this one to do this nice lace detailing. And then you just kind of slowly decrease to the end, which these shawls, I've done a shawl like this in crochet. And instead of the normal being, you know, you start at the tiny end and you go to the other bigger end and it just seems to take forever and ever and it keeps growing. These shawls are kind of nice because you're like, ooh, it's going faster and faster and faster. You're getting done. So, and these, they look like cables, but they're not. They're just, they call them little knot stitches. Sometimes they're called mock cables.
Oh,
So yeah, they've got a nice little detail, but they're really quite simple. And then, you know, your garter in between. So it's just a really nice drapey, lightweight shawl. It's got a beautiful little leafy pattern there, very spring-like.
Shadow.
Nice little bandana there. This is Fino, 2 skeins, Tulipen. The lace bits are kind of like little tulips, and they really are. Like little tulips, you can see them there. Done in the chemise colorway, which is one of my favorites in Fino. This is a nice, generous, yes, crescent shawl. And you can adjust the size by however many repeats, less or more, of the lace you want. It starts top down. You start with a garter tab. And you've got your stockinette section, and then you go into the lace section. And so you get these nice little twirly ends, nice sweep of yarn.
oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, it's quite lovely. If you wanted to make it significantly larger, you would probably have to go to a 3rd skein. But the fact that the pattern talks about making it larger and smaller, my guess is you might have a little bit left over even after this, so you could stretch it. But yeah, much bigger, you'd want to go for a 3rd skein. I think this would be one of those patterns too, which would be really easy to break up as far as you do your stockinette in one color, and then you can do the tulip lace in a 2nd color, just to kind of break it up, make it a little different. And then that way too, this is kind of one of their tonals. Fino doesn't really have variegates per se, but they do these kind of washy tonals. And so you could do maybe a busier color or a darker color up here, and more, you know, a lighter color or a less busy color down here if you really wanted your lace to pop. Although it looks pretty good in chemise, if I do say so myself. That's tulipen. Nice thing about crescent shawls is they've usually got a lot of tail or edges to kind of curl around, make sure it stays nice and tucked around your neck or shoulders. And then the last two pieces, a lot of slip stitches. They were separating slip stitches and mosaic stitching as two separate things, but really mosaic stitching is slip stitching, just in a more specific pattern than like an overall slip stitch texture. So this is called Cantero. This is also made out of the fleece. So the fleece has that modal in it, plant viscose with wool. And so, yeah, you've got each of these sections. So here's the mosaic section. In the middle, you've got your slip stitch sections. Then you've got a mosaic section again. And they're just reversed. You know, what color you use for A and what color you use for B. You're just going to flip that when you get to the other section. This one you will start at the point and it grows. And this one is charted. They don't have all the rows written out. This one's charted. And then because it starts at the tiny point and goes to the large end, you could kind of just keep adding to it if you wanted to. I believe how many skeins? 2 skeins each of A and B. I think these colors are fun. Somebody obviously really enjoys pink. I would say though, if I were to do it, these colors, while they may seem contrasty, I would make one darker because they're actually going to be the same kind of tone. That trick is if you put it under a black and white filter, if they're still kind of similar, then they're going to kind of wash like this. You don't really, actually that's not too bad, but in the normal daylight, it's actually kind of hard to get a really nice crisp sense of the pattern here. If one of these colors was significantly lighter or darker, you'd get a better feel for that pattern. So you could go with something kind of subtle and fun and you get up close and now I can see it, or you can have something more striking and contrast from a distance, depending on how you use your colors. You'll see the gray is kind of lost in there. The pink is kind of lost. And that's okay if you want something subtle. Just something to think about when you choose your colors. And the last one, this one's made out of Alegria, Campanilla. And it's just 1 skein of A and 1 skein of B. And it is a cowl. It's kind of one of those cowls that, they're, you want to wear a shawl, but you don't want it to fall off your neck. You don't want the ends to slip loose. So you just make a nice long cowl. You work the triangle top down until you get to the point where you can join it. And again, it's just slip stitches. So here you've got your mosaic pattern. And this time the contrast color, the mosaic pattern is done in a garter. The other one, the full pattern, the mosaic pattern was done in stockinette. And then there's a few little garter ridge lines in the slip stitch pattern. In this one, yeah, you've got your slip stitch pattern here. These are little, I guess they're kind of like seed stitches at this point because there's so little of it. You can't really call it a full garter ridge because it's interrupted by those slip stitches, but it gives it a nice texture, makes it kind of stand out. And then the garter again down here makes the pattern stand out a bit more. And you can see, since we've got this darker purple against this lighter green, it has a bit more contrast and it stands out a bit more. I still might be tempted to expand that contrast, but again, it's however you want it to look. So 2 colors. Alegria has so many options to play with. This would be a great piece. That was Campania. Nice little cowl piece. Very fun. Running out of mannequins. And it can drape a little bit over your shoulders, but mostly it's just gonna kind of give you that bandana look and be a nice, pretty front. So not a big trunk show, but still fun, beautiful pieces. Deborah Gerard. And all of these patterns are on our website. And of course, all of this yarn we have available. We are happy to help you choose colors. Any questions on any of the pattern specifics? Or yarn questions, since they're across a whole range of yarns. You can substitute a lot of these. You could do this out of Fino or Alma. It's a fingering weight. The same for this one. You could do this out of Alegria or Alma instead of the Fino. You could do the shawls out of a different weight yarn and it would change the size of them. The cute lace top. You could do that again. Like I said, these 3 yarns are pretty much the same gauge, so you could interchange the yarns for either of those as well.
How long are those going to stay in the shop?
Until the 28th.
Darn, I won't be there yet.
Yeah. We've got to ship them out to their next home. We just got them. They're the brand new stuff, so everybody wants to get their hands on them.
I'll be eager to see some more contrasting colors in each pattern.
It would be nice to see. I would especially like to see this one knit up in a higher contrast.
That bright pink is really bright.
It is very bright. It is very, which is fine, but I think it's kind of lost with that gray. It really should be put with something else to help it pop a bit more in a way that's pleasing. I know pink and gray are a common combo, but, and then we had someone purchase the yarn for the Violetta's sweater, and she loved the shocking, but she went with kind of a denim blue for the violets.
Oh.
And I think I could even go grab it real quick because I think it's really pretty.
It's still just very bright pink.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be wearing that for like many years to come. It would be,
You know, unless you really like, I think it was this one that she chose. You might just really like the bright pink, and why not? So her violets are going to be out of this midnight color. Pretty sure my memory is correct.
Yeah, there's some granddaughters that would love the bright pink, but
yeah.
Well, and there's lots, like I said, there's all kinds of really nice, if you're going for that kind of spring look, if you want to play up the spring flowers look, your background, there's a lot of really pretty pastel, delicate colors in the silk blend. There's a huge palette to play with, which I think is fun. And I'd also think it'd be really fun to see someone play with the color combos here to make your leaves green, and you could stop it here. So you can still only work with 2 colors at a time. If you don't want to get super fancy with your color work. So you could stop the green here, which is perfect, and then do your flowers in a different color. And I think that would be really fun.
yeah, I can see that.
And you could do the same up here. So here's your green bits, and then you do your little flowers in a different color. So options, ways to play, fun stuff. Did I show this? Yeah. Make sure I got all of them. Yeah, there was only seven pieces. I'm tempted to show you some of the books. Thought. Although maybe I shouldn't, because this is the Manos. This is the Manos presentation, so I maybe I shouldn't show you the Barocco stuff. Or I can,
That's
Well,
okay.
I was late, so I was interested in the one that's over here, over on the right, extreme right. Isn't that one down there to the right more? The purple and gray, that one.
oh. So
Is that one of these two?
no, but I can show it to you. What is happening here? Okay. This is a pattern called Pansy. Let me double check that after I said it. Yes, Pansy. It is made out of pheno. Chris just finished this one. The idea was we wanted to, it uses our custom color,
Oh,
the Quarenta, and we
Mhm.
wanted to break it up a little bit and make it not look quite so red, white, and blue. So we put it with corsage, which really helped, and especially in that kind of mixy slip stitch pattern, helped bring out the berry tones and overall kind of just make it nice and warm and not quite so red, white, and blue. So you get more of that kind of berry tones. And this is one where you start at the teeny end and you start doing your mosaics until you run out of yarn. And she went ahead and finished off the Quarenta skein on the end there. And this is all, yeah, it's all garter. So it's just nice and squishy, lays flat, drapey, pheno, so it's delicious. Pansy.
pretty.
And of course you could make this out of any combo you wanted, but we wanted to try to give a different life to our little Quarenta skein.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think that's it. We don't have any other new Manos models besides the new fun stuff. Yay, Manos.
You said 7?
There are 7 patterns, yes,
Okay, I'm only seeing 6.
because I hid one.
Oh,
Took it down to
7.
show off the violettas. So yes, there's 3 tops, and I guess this one's considered a cowl. So 3 tops, 3 shawls, and 1 little cowl. And fun, nice and lacy, fun ways to play with color with the mosaic, and stranded knitting, good stuff. And baubles if you're up for it or not.